Tattoo artists, what pieces are you tired of doing? I worked at a receptionist in a tattoo studio in Scotland and holy crap, people just want pocket watches and roses, and infinity symbols. We once had someone ask for the squashed sideways 8 inches that all of her friends had. My artist is really good at linear arc flowers. 10/10. That's why I went to him. It's exactly what I wanted. Turns out he's trying to step away from that and ideally do more creative things, but it's my bread and butter. Sounds like he needs to slowly increase the price for his linear arc flowers. Not so much that it'd scare everyone off. That'll decrease the demand and allow him to continue making some money doing it, while freeing up his time for other work, so long as it lines up. Last time I was in for a touch-up, the guy across the hall took a call and had to refuse to do a tattoo of the local team as champions 2017 or whatever year it was. It was the night before their game. They lost. So yeah, that dude probably had another artist do it up and regrets it deeply. There's a guy in St. Louis who got a Blues 2015 Stanley Cup championship tattoo a few years back. We obviously didn't win that year and that guy made the national news. When I was getting my admittedly rather generic tattoo done on my chest, which I didn't feel the artist was particularly into, but hey, he was polite enough. We heard the receptionist say, look, we'd never do that, and if you phone back we're calling the police. Some dude had phoned up and asked if they'd tattoo a naked, crying little girl on his back. Them told the receptionist she was a P when she said no. Some people try to be way too edgy with tattoos. Nautical sleeves. I'm from an island and frick is it brutal trying to make it unique when every 5th person has one. Anchors, compasses, maps, etc. Feathers and pocket watches are close seconds. I'm just gonna get I'm unique tattooed on my neck. I worked as a shop manager for a little bit. My boss, the head artist, was getting super burnt out on big cats, specifically lions, wearing crowns. In about a month, he'd done 5 realistic lions and a panther, wearing crowns on dudes who wanted to feel like kings. I had to start politely turning them down when people called to inquire about them. Sorry, Ian's not really interested in doing more big cats this month. Late to the party, and my first tattoo was a tramp stamp on my 21st birthday, but one of the things my 2004 tattooist told me was that he was doing at least one Godsmack Son a day, a design from whatever album they had out at the time. And as I was sitting there getting tatted, a dude walks in asking for that exact thing. I busted out laughing, but my guy was professional. He told him he would do it but that he would feel more comfortable doing something more custom. The guy didn't sway, though, and after I finished up, dude got himself a Godsmack tattoo. Tattoo artist from Alabama here. I am not religious at all, but I think I've ascribed the entire Bible on human flesh at this point. UK tattoo artist. Okay, pocket watches with roses surrounding them have started to die out bit 1 or 2 years ago. My god, they were frickin' rife. The worst part is when the customer says they want one they follow with, I've got an idea to make it special and unique to me. And I'd say, you want the time your baby was born, don't you? OMG, how did you know that? This year it has definitely moved on to lions, tigers etc wearing crowns. It's always the guys that have to check with their lass if the design is okay before they start to. Like mentioned before, however, I'll take a pocket watch with a lion's face in the center, birds flying off it merging into an infinity symbol with each bird having its own individual birthstone of the family's lost cats over the years, than a smelly person. Freaking snake coming out of the eye of a skull, and why does the guy who wants this tattoo always have a perfectly groomed goatee? Igor Karkaroff wannabes. I have a couple chemistry tattoos and my artist made a comment about girls getting dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin with the word happiness. Seemed like he might have done a few too many. I know someone with dopamine and serotonin on their wrists. The dopamine structure is wrong too. I'm an apprentice right now, but practically all of the artists in my shop have agreed on a few things. Infinity symbols, especially with words, anchors, birds, feathers that turn into birds. However, that being said, my mentor followed that up with, but that's your job security. You'll always have girls coming in for the most basic tattoos, and no matter how tired you get of them, they'll pay your bills. My tattoo artist and I were talking about this when I was in last time. He pointed to a coffee mug on his desk that was full of infinity symbols with different words inside them so he could just pull them out when people came in and asked for them. Bonus: there was even an infinity symbol turning into birds. LPT. If you're like me and just want good art from a variety of talented artists, find an artist that does art you think is rad, then ask them if there is any art they have done on canvas, paper, digital that they want to do on skin. If they show you something that you would like on your body, you will guaranteed get a tattoo that has that little extra that makes for a great tat. My cousin is an artist and this was his tip to me. Asked my buddy. He said, if I have to do another goddamn Latin paragraph on a chick's ribs, I'm gonna shoot my brains out. Ironically, he was doing one on his GF at the time he told me. I apprenticed in a shop but had to move before I was able to start tattooing myself. What I noticed personally is the artists in the shop weren't necessarily tired of doing the same designs as the personality of people getting them. Such as, guy who thinks he has a crazy pain tolerance but almost passes out. Girl guy who freaks out himself out to the point of shaking, puking and backs out at the last minute. And really anyone who could use attention to hygiene. The list goes on and on. As a physician, anyone who claims to have a high pain tolerance does not. However, if their so says they do, they do. Not an artist, but my friend told me what his artist said. My friend has a full sleeve that wraps around to his chest. It's all incredibly well done. He finished his sleeve by getting a tattoo of Virgin Mary on the inside of his bicep. It's done absurdly well. The guy who my friend goes to has some beyond comprehensible talent when it comes to making faces. He has a few other faces as part of his sleeve and they're all equally as amazing. After his appointment, my buddy told me that his artist told him that the Mary face was the final face he was ever going to tattoo and he was done with them for good. According to my friend, this guy's talent for tattooing faces isn't a secret and he gets tons of people requesting him for faces, mostly deceased loved ones or famous people. The guy is apparently so sick of only tattooing faces that he's out of the game. He wanted to focus more on patterns and animals. I'm not an artist so I DK what that's like, but if you're willing to give up tattooing something so well due to sheer volume of frequency, then it must be a lot. The only reason the artist did the face for my friend is because he did the rest of his sleeve and gets along really well with my friend, so he wanted to finish with a bang for a good customer. Well, with any artist they like a challenge or doing something out of their comfort zone. It's understandable why that artist gets annoyed by being constantly bombarded with requests for something that bores him. Not an artist, but the tattoo shop I go to back home in the Caribbean has a running tally of how many times they have to tattoo palm trees on girls' ankles. My first tattoo was I love you forever and always in my mom's handwriting on my foot. While my tattoo artist was doing it, another artist came in the room to ask what I was getting. When he found out it was script on my foot, he asked, "Let me guess, live, laugh, love." He awkwardly left after we explained it wasn't that and in fact my mom's handwriting. So, I'd say he's sick of that. As a modern professional tattooer, I treat every tattoo like it means the world to my client. Yes, even your infinity symbol that says, "Place religious theme here," your kanji script that is potentially incorrect, or even that sweet forest scene that wraps around your wrist. It matters to you, so it matters to me. Elitist tattooers can suck it. I would get a tattoo from you. I'm not against face tattoos. I have friends and peers that wear them quite well. My issue is 18-year-olds who want to get them because they want a certain look. Pop culture has made them seem a lot more acceptable than they actually are. At the end of the day, in the majority of careers they will hinder employment. I had an artist that refused to do anyone's first face tattoo. This made sense. Not an artist, but as I was setting up my last appointment, my artist and I were talking at the front desk and the person at the reception at the desk took a call, said just a minute, and asks my artist, "Hey Kev, do you have time for a walk-in today?" He looks over and says maybe. What do they want? An infinity loop. Are they on hold? Yes. Frick that. I'm so fricking sick of infinity loops. Tell them I'm busy. So I think infinity loops for Kev. I love it how he checked to make sure they were on hold and wouldn't hear him before. Infinity knots. Infinity knots with hearts. Infinity knots with names too long to be in the infinity knots. Please infinity knot. Went to a tattoo artist in Noco once. He asked what I was thinking of doing. I said I want an outline of, and he just sighed and said, listen dude, I'm sorry but if I have to tattoo Pikes Peak one more time I'm gonna lose it. For the record, I was asking for a rat, and he apologized profusely, but I thought it was hilarious. I know 3 different coloradons with Pikes Peak tattoos. I hate when couples get each other's names tattooed on each other's arm and crap, because then like 2 weeks later the dude will come back for a cover up because they broke up. It drives me up the wall. I'm not a tattoo artist, but one of my best friends has gotten a bunch of tattoos recently, 4 or 5, and they all look like the kinds of designs that would grace the cover of an off-brand Walmart notebook. I feel crappy because she wants them to be meaningful, but they just look like someone phoned in the design for a few bucks and a Dr. Pepper. I'd like to think she's covered in Lisa Frank art. Not a tattoo artist, but I'm surprised I haven't seen anyone say tribal tattoos yet. I'm friends with a tattoo artist who said she hates doing tribal tattoos. Tribal is less in demand nowadays than a lot of the other stuff that has been mentioned. Used to be a tattoo artist. The amount of infinity signs and other cardiogram lines with hearts in them I've done is insane. Same for skulls, flowers, butterflies and other overdone stuff. There was also the cupcake lady who came in every month. She was covered in cupcakes on her legs, tummy, arms, back, and every time she wanted a new one. I was with a friend who was getting a tattoo and the artist mentioned he was sick of tattooing this too shall pass. Made sure to pull down my sleeve after he said that, but frick it, I got it as a reminder when it comes to my bad anxiety, so whatever. I read this as you shall not pass and I was surprised it was a popular tattoo. Then I saw you say it helps with your anxiety, and I thought to myself, hey, that's cool, I could see that. Hey anxiety, you ain't getting past me today. Then it reminded me of the phrase this too shall pass and I looked up at your post and was disappointed. But at least no one is tired of Tolkien yet. None. I'm happy to do all of them. I get my satisfaction from a job well done, not from how cool the tattoo is. Don't get me wrong, I have things I enjoy drawing more than others, but tattooing is a trade first. It's not about me, it's about my client. This was refreshing to see. Thank you. Mine told me he is no longer doing matching M's on each butt cheek, spelling out mom when someone is bent over. The joke's been played out. That idea makes me want to die. All tats are cool as heck to do. No getting tired of any designs. Want that lemnisket? I can do those forever. Titty chandelier? Let's hang em. Watercolor bird explosion? I got plenty in stock. Crossing out Chad's name and getting Luke's instead, 3rd time's a charm. Seriously, people are paying you actual money for art. If you're getting tired of that, you're in the wrong dang business. Everything is fun if you try to care about it. Watercolor bird explosion sounds both beautiful and horrific. Not a tattoo artist, but so many people I've seen get the mustache on the inside of your pointer finger. I feel like that fad has to have gotten old with a few artists. Not a piece but body location. As I was getting my foot tattooed circa 2009, the artist stopped halfway through and said, "Foot tattoos, the new tramp stamp. Thanks bro." Was getting my foot tattooed with my service dog's paw print a week after she passed. Another client said something like that to me. Cue big ugly tears from me. Other people's tattoos. Bringing a reference is great. Bringing a photo of someone else's tattoo already on them and saying you will not accept anything less than an exact copy is the worst. Besides that, I don't ever get tired of doing tiny or basic tattoos. Remarkably, those clients tend to be a lot less pretentious than some of the hipster traditional people that come in. Tattooist from Scotland here. Infinity symbols are a main suspect, but one I straight up refuse to do now is that skull jaw on the top of the hand. You know, the one where you put your hand over your face and it's supposed to look like you have a skeleton jaw. The people that usually ask for it have no other tattoos. My husband's dad was a tattoo artist, I believe in the 90s anyway. He hates Tasmanian devil tattoos from Looney Tunes. He makes the most disgusted face and walks away from me if I mention them. My grandpa is an artist, and so I showed him this post, and immediately he said butterflies on an obese person's lower back. I can't tell you how many of those suckers I drawn over stretch marks, yikes. Haha, I thought the tattoo just didn't age well. When I got my tattoo of a juggling bear, I was making small talk with a tattoo artist. She said she was tired of doing nothing but tribal designs and dragons all the time. She said the whole shop talked about my bear juggling a club, a ball, and a machete, and that they were so thrilled by the originality that they were thinking about doing it for free. They didn't. Cost me $300. Great tattoo though. Still my only one. If I never have to tattoo the goddamn pine forest silhouette or a realistic American flag again, it'll be too soon. Be the kind of person that gets a cyborg wizard or something. Y'all are making me feel good about my tattoo choices. Thankfully, just got one from a flash sheet last night and I'm in love. Not a tattooist, but if I was, people getting flags for other countries. Like my great grandfather's uncle's sister's grandmother was from Ireland, so tattoo their flag on my back because I'm part Irish. I have a buddy who has covered himself with clovers and tiny Irish flags because he's Irish. He's Irish because he has a red beard and likes Danny Boy, and he can drink. His last name is Anglo-Saxon and nobody else in his family claims Irish descent. I got a story. It's opposite of the post, but I am very proud of it. So a few years back I decided to get a lighthouse tattoo in honor of my mother after she had passed away. I go into a tat shop I had heard about. It was Easter Sunday that year. The artist Josh said he almost didn't open the shop that day because the boss was getting married. I told him what I wanted and he got super excited as he loves lighthouses like my mom did, and he had been wanting to ink a lighthouse for quite some time. We get down to business and 6 hours later my shin has an absolutely gorgeous lighthouse on it. I went back to see him a couple years later and he said he still hasn't done a lighthouse since then. I'm seriously considering letting him do another one on me. I get many compliments on his work when I wear shorts. Again, I know it's opposite of the post, but I wanted to share the story. My guy spent the entire time he was doing my last tat raging against the people coming in for Harry Potter tats. He's got a big sign up on the entrance stating not to even ask. I guess your guy doesn't like drawing a triangle, a circle and a line for $150. I've only been tattooing for a year, but my shop collectively is really frustrated with the micro tattoos people bring in from Pinterest and want done. Half of the time they're photoshopped, and even if they weren't, once they settle into your skin they will eventually blur into a nasty blob. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.